When it comes to art show tents, you basically have two choices. Quick to set up pop-up style tents that are usually pretty flimsy, and stronger, more durable tents that you build pole by pole like the light dome and trim line. That's why when I saw a heavy-duty pop-up style tent that promised to be incredibly strong and sturdy, yet take only minutes to set up, I knew I had to try it out for myself. This video is not sponsored by any tent company, and I bought these tents with my own money to try them out. My name is Evan Reinheimer, and I'm a full-time artist and exhibit in an average of 25 to 30 outdoor art shows every year. I've been doing this for over 17 years now and share my experiences here on my YouTube channel. Hey, so as you can see, my van is still here intact and running, which is a nice welcome change to the past few months when I've had all those van problems. This weekend I'm here on Long Island in New York to go exhibit in my favorite show of the whole year, the Montauk Art Show on the Green, all the way at the east end of Long Island. Today is setup day. Setup and breakdown, mostly setup, are my least favorite part of any art festival. It's the most time consuming, and setting up my tent is probably the most exhausting of the entire setup process. But this weekend I have a new tent that I'm going to be testing out that should allow me to set up the tent in about 5 minutes. So I'm really excited to try it out for setup in a real world scenario. I set it up in the driveway here just the other day to make sure it all worked and goes together and everything, but this will be the first real world test of that tent at the art festival. And I'm going to show you and tell you all about this tent because I think if it works well, it could be really useful for a lot of artists out there. So let's get going because I have about an hour and a half to a 2-hour drive from here in slow Hamptons traffic to get out to Montauk. So let's get moving. When I first started doing art shows 17 years ago, actually right here in Montauk, this was my very, very first real art show. Back then I used a really cheap pop-up tent because it was all I could afford at the time. I think I spent $150, maybe even less, to buy that tent. It was made of really lightweight, cheap aluminum. And then one day I was setting up for an art show up in Portland, Maine. And as I was setting up, the metal on the tent twisted a little bit and the whole thing just collapsed in on itself. And that's when I decided that if I'm going to take myself seriously and take doing art festivals seriously, I needed to get a serious tent. So I invested in buying a light dome tent made by Creative Energies. I have 2 light domes now, and one of the ones that I'm still using is that original tent that I bought used back then. I have no complaints about it other than it's a little time consuming to set up. So that's what I'm hoping to save here with this new canopy, is save myself some time in setting up. It takes me about anywhere from 25 to 40 minutes, probably an average of 30 minutes just to set up my tent. This canopy I should be able to open up and set up in about 5 minutes. So if I could save myself an average of 30 minutes at setup and then maybe another 20 minutes at breakdown, that's a lot of time I've saved over the course of an entire year doing 25 to 30 art festivals. So I'm going to set the tent up now, just open it up and get it to the point where I need to put the sidewalls on, because with the light dome tent, putting the frame together and then getting the top on is the most time consuming. With the Extreme Canopy, the top stays on the canopy already, and you'll see when I open it up, it should just fold out and be ready to go. Extreme Canopy makes several different versions of these tents that vary in strength. The strongest one for outdoor art shows is their X7 Tectonic model. This is the one I got. I also had them add extra tall legs to the tent so I could use my super tall Pro panels. Most artists would be fine with the standard height X7. I also ordered mine without any sidewalls, hoping that my light dome sidewalls would fit on it. I put links to where you can buy the Extreme Canopy in the description of this video. Okay, so on my phone here, I don't know if you can see it, it says 2:55. I'm going to start setting up the canopy now, and we'll time it, see how long it takes. $2:57. 2 minutes, not 5 minutes, 2 minutes. That would have taken me probably about 25 if I just kind of went at a leisurely pace to get from the point of opening up my light dome tent to the point where I have the tent set up and the top on. 2 minutes. Didn't expect that. So you might wonder why I'm using the sides from my light dome canopy on this tent. And yes, Extreme Canopy does make sidewalls for their tents. However, I felt that the sides that Extreme Canopy provided were made of a really kind of cheap, thin material, and the zippers, especially on them, looked very lightweight. And I love the heavy-duty material that Light Dome uses, and they have nice heavy-duty zippers. So I took a chance, and I was really hoping that the sidewalls from my Light Dome would fit on the Extreme Canopy, and from my test that I did in the driveway the other day, they definitely do. I was also told by artist Terry Andrews, who has an Extreme Canopy and allowed me to really look closely at his, that if you call Light Dome, they'll actually make you sidewalls out of their material that will fit the Extreme Canopy. So you can buy the Extreme Canopy, call Light Dome and say, hey, this is the tent that I bought. I would love for you guys to make sidewalls for my tent so that I have nice heavy-duty sidewalls.
I don't think Extreme Canopy makes stabilizing bars that fit their tents. However, I did find stabilizing bars from another tent company that fit well enough on the Extreme Canopy. I'll leave a link to these in the description of the video as well.
So it's a bit of a rainy morning here in Montauk, and usually that's not great for a show, but here in Montauk, rain or cool, cloudy weather is really great because Montauk is a beach community, and when the weather isn't perfect for the beach, that means a lot more people are typically going to come to the art show, so it should be a really great day today. Extreme Canopy advertises the top of their tents to be completely waterproof, and putting it to the test today, so far that seems to be completely true. I have two 10x10s set up next to each other to make a double booth space of 10x20, and they sold me a rain gutter that velcros in between the two tents with a flap over it that should keep any rain from pouring in through the seam where the two tents are joined. I have my ladder over here, so I'll climb up there and see it in person and check to make sure that it's completely dry up there. This wasn't planned. I'm doing this kind of impromptu, so just kind of bear with me here. As you'll see, let me turn the camera around here. This is where the tents join together. There's like a vinyl flap here that velcros underneath another flap in between the two tents to create this rain gutter so that water doesn't pour into the tent, and I don't feel any moisture up here at all.
Pop-up style tents are usually prone to water pooling on the roof, but Extreme Canopy has a strong spring-tensioned roof support that helps prevent this.
Thankfully, it hasn't been too windy this weekend, so I really haven't had a chance to see how the tent acts in the wind, but just kind of going up to the side of the tent and shaking it around a little bit, it seems to actually be a bit more sturdy than my Light Dome is also, which I'm a little bit surprised about. I expected the Extreme Canopy to rock a little bit more than my Light Dome. So overall, I'd give the Extreme Canopy a really good rating on its sturdiness as well. And I just gotta say, I'm pleasantly surprised with how much I like this tent. I thought maybe I would be compromising a little bit on stability by using a pop-up like this, but so far it doesn't seem like that at all. The frame is pretty heavy. I know it's extra heavy because I have the extra tall one. The standard height Extreme Canopy does weigh a bit less, and the standard height Extreme Canopy I think comes with a rolling bag, which is really nice. And I guess the real final question here is, would I recommend getting an Extreme Canopy like this? And the answer is yeah, I think I would. It sets up really easily. It works just as well as the more complicated to put together piece-by-piece pipe tents that are out there. And even though it doesn't seem like Extreme Canopy's markets these to artists at art festivals, I really think there's a good place for it in art festivals, and we're going to start seeing a lot more of them, maybe especially after people watch this video. I think they're going to become a lot more popular. I'm going to put a link in the description of the video where you can buy these Extreme Canopies. I don't really recommend buying the sides that they had for the Extreme Canopy, even though I don't have any first-hand experience with them other than looking at what other artists had on their tents. I found them to be really thin, and the zippers were kind of cheap, like I mentioned earlier in the video. So if you have a Light Dome tent already, the Light Dome sides fit really well on the Extreme Canopy, or you can contact Creative Energies and tell them you're getting an Extreme Canopy and ask them to make sidewalls out of their heavy-duty material that will fit the Extreme Canopy. That would be my recommendation. But if you're only going to be doing a couple shows a year, maybe you could get by with the Extreme Canopy sidewalls and they wouldn't be so bad for you. I do think there are a couple art festivals out there that don't allow pop-up tents, but I think they should reconsider allowing some of these heavy-duty pop-ups there, because this feels just as strong, if not stronger, than a lot of the piece-by-piece pipe tents that are out there. I also just want to reiterate that this video is not sponsored by Extreme Canopy. I didn't get paid for any of this. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the piece-by-piece pipe frame tents. I've been using my light dome for over 15 years, and I bought it used.
Ultimately, when selecting the right art show tent, you want a tent that will be strong enough to keep you, your artwork, and art show patrons safe, first and foremost, combined with a tent that's comfortable for you to set up.
So I hope you guys found this useful. Thanks for watching, and please remember to subscribe to my channel here.